Hello again. I'm back. It's Kayla, and you're still tuned into Climate Action Figures.
Hello and welcome to the final edition of Season 2 of Climate Action Figures. I can't believe we've arrived here already. My name, as always, is John Whidden, and this week on the show, we will get to catch up with creative consultant Kayla. But first, this week's Quick Fix, which comes to us from Colleen Whidden, who happens to live in the same house as me. And so I said, of course, we can feature your Quick Fix on Climate Action Figures. She says, I always get ice cream in cones because if I get it in a cup, I have to throw away the cup. And if I get it in a cone, I don't have to throw anything away except maybe a little napkin. So thank you very much for that Quick Fix, Colleen. And welcome back to the show, Kayla.
Hello. Thank you for having me back. Can't get rid of me.
No, never. We would not want to do that. What do you think about Colleen's Quick Fix, Kayla?
I'm a big fan of ice cream cones. I think we should have more edible containers of food. That's great. Less waste.
I don't think of an ice cream cone as an edible container, but of course it is. That's brilliant. Kayla, just to be different today, let's do our climate actions first. I usually save that for almost the end of each episode. Here's one for you. Let's do a crazy challenge because I know that we're both a little bit environmentally crazy. And so let's see if we can one-up each other on the things that we do. How about that?
Okay. All right. You're on.
I'll warn you, I'm going to win.
Yes, you are.
Who's the craziest?
Definitely John. Definitely John.
And this does not mean you have to do these crazy things that we do, but you can if you like. I'll just warn you that they can be dangerous for friendships, and if you live with someone, even more dangerous. So beware. Okay, let me start it off with, since you've seen me do a lot of episodes from my own home here, and often I'm not wearing a hat, I'm wearing a toque. This is because the house, I just can't stand heating the house to a high temperature with just me at home. So I keep the temperature at 17. Kayla, what do you think about that?
That's chilly. You are crazier than me because I don't know if I could do 17 degrees. That's really cold.
I wear lots of layers. And at night we turn it down. Colleen's in for the cold overnight because we have a cozy comforter, but we go down to 15 overnight. So
that's pretty chilly. I do also try to keep my AC and my heat off as much as possible and put on the layers. But I have bad circulation, so my hands get cold, and there's only, you can't really do much with mittens if you're trying to work.
That's true. This is true. And I should admit that I turned it up to a balmy 19 for Colleen to arrive home, so she actually wants to continue to come home. That's a good thing.
Shame. I guess hate the environment, turning it up to 19.
Exactly. Okay, your turn.
I keep my compost in the freezer so that if I don't have to take the compost out before it's full, if it's just smelling too bad, because it doesn't smell bad if you keep it in the freezer. So I can fill up the compost bin every single time.
You just reminded me of another one. Not that I'm trying to one-up you or anything, but we just went to a conference and we stayed in a hotel with a little bar fridge, and we kept a little Tupperware container with our compost in it. From we had banana peels and some pepper, seeds and stuff like that. And anytime we had compost, and then we threw it in the fridge because then it didn't go, stinky all week. So there you go.
You are definitely crazy. Okay,
no, but the freezer's a good one. I thought fridge, but I haven't done that with the freezer. So.
I love it. I can never go back to having my compost not in the freezer.
And we had Derek on talking about worm composting this season, and so I'm hoping that at some point, Colleen Whidden, I'm going to get a gift of a worm composter so that I can try that. Okay, on the topic of food, my next one, Kayla, is I sort of accidentally got an e-bike a year or two ago, but I ride a bike all the time, and not usually e-bike, usually regular. But the e-bike I got saddlebags for, and the saddlebags are massive, and I can do my grocery shopping on my e-bike. So I rarely go to the grocery store without my bike now.
Those must be huge saddlebags. I don't know about you, but I only go every 2 weeks, so I can't imagine.
It gets a little heavy. It's like you're doing a wheelie all the time. You have a little less steering control with all that weight on the back.
Yeah.
Okay, you're next.
Okay, my next one is I participate in all the community cleanups that my neighborhood does. And it's lovely
Oh.
that they organize them, which is really fun. Also, if anyone who knows me is listening, I've had a litter picker set on my Christmas list for like 2 years now because I want to just, every time I go for a walk in the neighborhood, I would love to just bring it, bring your little claw grabby thing, bring your little garbage bag and just do a bit of community cleanup every time you go for a walk.
Well, maybe we should have a segment on the show that's what gift to buy Kayla and John.
New
Let's
car.
do it.
How about, yeah. If anyone wants to buy me a new car, I'll take it.
Electric, of course.
Of course.
Okay, last one for me. When we go away, Colleen and I turn off the hot water tank if we're going for more than 2 days. And I tell you this because it leads to a funny story, because it just said we were away at a conference. When we got back, totally forgot to turn on the hot water. And we had an event we were going out to the other night. And so I jumped in the shower quick before we went out. I'm like, man, I'm holding my hand in there. It's not warming up. And so, yeah, I had an ice cold shower
Oh,
because,
really good for the circulation.
exactly. So there you go. If you do that, remember to turn it back on when you get back.
Remember to turn it back on. Yes.
Well, we better get moving on with the show, but that was great climate actions. Thanks for sharing yours. I think we did pretty good battle. We're pretty even on those.
Speaking of the different features that we have on our shows, like quick fixes and climate actions, if you have any ideas for the show, anything that you think would be a good addition, if you have any more questions for our lovely engineer, or, something you want to send to us that we can post on any of our socials, feel free to send that our way. We're always happy to hear what kind of things we can do to keep improving the podcast.
And we'd love to hear from you. So please send us an email at climateactionfigures@gmail.com or contact us through social media. Now, Kayla, I do not know the answer to this question because I didn't ask you if we could talk about it. So I'm a bit nervous about this, but let's get it over with. Are you interested in continuing in your role as creative consultant for another season?
You might have to edit this out. No, I'm joking, of course. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you actually got me.
I got you.
I can't believe you got me with an editing comment. That was nasty. Colleen is going to love that. Yes.
I would love to.
Okay, great. I was going to say you better answer now. Okay. Phew. So teach me something, Kayla, like lingo, or what are young people talking about these days that I need to know? Because you've this important role where you keep me up to speed on what young people are thinking and doing. And so teach me something.
Yeah. Okay. How to keep you in touch with the kids these days. I myself am already getting a little bit old for the really young crowd. So I don't know if you've heard of such phrases as skibbity toilet, Riz.
Skibbity toilet.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Tell me more.
I don't even know what it means exactly. I've just heard it a couple times. I think honestly, if you wanted to do some market research, the best thing to do would probably be watching the Minecraft movie. I haven't watched it, but all the kids these days love Minecraft, and probably the Minecraft movie as well. So yeah, if you want to learn some great lingo, check that out.
Okay, we will do that. And what about recording here from my dining room table? Is that cool or is that uncool?
I mean, I don't think that's for me to judge, Sean. If you get a lot of hate comments from teenagers about your kitchen, then I guess we will know.
Well, maybe I should put a Minecraft background behind me.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, let's see you in the lava in your.
Yeah. I don't think so. Now, Kayla, tell me, because I'm always asking you questions about social media. I've asked people to hit like and subscribe, and this is important, correct?
It is very important. Okay. If you hit like and subscribe, it helps make the podcast more visible to other people. So it pops up on more people's feeds and suggested. So if you think that this podcast is enjoyable, not just for yourself, but for other people, and you could just send it directly if you are thinking of people who might enjoy it. But it also just helps us be more visible to anyone out there who might be wanting a bit more hope and a bit more inspiration to not feel so much anxiety about climate change. So make sure to like and subscribe.
And I didn't actually ask that just to get people to do that. I actually asked that because it's good for me to know, make sure I know why These are important things. Anyways, on we go. It is our 53rd episode today. So I guess we can be a little
Wow.
self-congratulatory that we made it past 50 episodes. Is that a little narcissistic? I don't know.
No,
Can that exist in a not-for-profit podcast? I'm not sure.
absolutely. Look at us go. 50
Yeah. Okay.
episodes, over 50.
Go climate action
Go
figures.
climate
And
action figures.
And I get emails quite regularly that say, "Here's how you can monetize this," and I always just ignore them because I'm not interested in monetizing it because it's not for profit. But I thought of a funny question that we should answer, Kayla. We refuse sponsorship, but if you had to choose the best and the worst sponsor for climate action figures, what would they be? And I'll do the same. And I haven't come up with it yet, so we'll think hard on the spot. Do you have one? I've got one.
Do you have the best or the worst?
I've got my worst.
I've got my worst as well. I don't know
Okay,
my
it's probably the
best.
same one, right? Okay, you go.
Okay, Trump Towers.
No, that's exactly what I picked.
No.
Except I let you go first because I wasn't sure if it's like the Trump Organization or Trump Towers or Trump.
That's so
I don't know.
funny.
Anyways,
You know what? Maybe, who knows? There will be a test of your resolve because you're going to get an email from the Trump Towers organization that's going to be, we're going to offer you so much money if you degrade.
you go ahead, Donald. Offer me all the money you want. Let's see how that goes.
See how it goes.
Okay, the best sponsor. What's the best sponsor? I'm trying to think of an ice cream brand that would be good. A good local ice cream brand.
Made by Marcus is local to Calgary, isn't it?
Camp ice cream is local out here. Oh, it's so good.
Oh.
Actually, you know what I was thinking, Kayla? Because I adopted these long before climate action figures, is the laundry strips. You used to get liquid, which is the worst, and then powder is much better. But these strips they can come in the mail in a regular envelope, and that's how you get your laundry detergent. So there's almost no transportation cost environmentally.
Best sponsorship, at least for me, would be Canary Refillery because that is where I live in Calgary. It's the one I go to. It's in Kensington. They always have such great stuff. I get most of my refillery items there. And yeah, if they wanted to give me a discount code, I would use it so much.
Okay, I want to talk about this podcast because I feel, Kayla, like I've been schooled on this podcast. This season alone, I've learned about cosmetics, creating nanocellulose coatings for drones from seaweed, organic fertilizer from worms, teen organization of protest at the Saskatchewan legislature, environmental education programs that are amazing in Ontario, First Nations ways of seeing the climate crisis, climate finance in South Korea, a doctor's perspective on community health in India, clean energy banking in Istanbul, relocating homes in Samoa, glacier science, all kinds of perspectives on COP29 in Baku. We can go on. And I've been drenched by hope from these guests that we've had.
Yeah, it's truly been such an inspiring season. I loved Alex's steak facts a lot. I loved hearing your story about your abandoned croc in the river. That was a really good one.
My worst nightmare.
All the COP29 stories, like it's so cool. And I didn't even know about COP at all until I heard about it on this podcast.
Yeah, it was interesting just to hear what COP was like because I knew about COP, but I had no idea. I'd never talked to anybody who's been there. Did I tell you how I found those guests, by the way?
No.
I don't know if I should admit it. I was just thinking, wouldn't it be cool when COP was on to talk to someone live from Baku and see what's it like on the ground there for a young person?
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, how could I possibly do that? So I looked on Twitter and I looked up Baku and COP29. And one of the connections was an organization called Youngo, which we featured a number of times this season. And the reason it kept coming back was because Youngo had a spreadsheet on their Twitter feed, which was, hey, young people from Youngo, here are your groups at COP29 this year. Climate finance, bing, 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 3 names and 3 email addresses. Mitigation, bing, 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 3 names, 3 email addresses, and on and on. And there were about 35 or 40 of these young people. And I'm like, I'm doing this for the good of the world. So I should use this list, right? Even if they've accidentally posted it on Twitter. But it turned out that it wasn't accidentally posted. They were okay with having their email addresses out on Twitter. And so I contacted all of them, and we ended up with how many? I can't think, 13 or
Yeah,
something,
quite a
young people.
few.
So that's the funny story of me stalking Twitter to find guests.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
they've said, oh, here are some more people we know that you should talk to. And they seem to really enjoy their time on climate action figures. So it's led to a bunch that we're going to talk about in a minute, too. Some more for next season.
Certified internet sleuth. That is pretty impressive.
Oh, that's a much nicer way of putting it. Thank you. So next season's guests, and you're going to have to stop me because I'm going to get excited and might go on too long, but we picked up a few from those young people we talked to this season, and we're going to feature them this coming season starting this fall on climate action figures. I'm very excited about this special series. It should be 5 episodes. And how much should I give away?
Only a little bit. Just tease
A little
him.
more. It's going to be a First Nations series. It comes from southern Alberta, from the Blackfoot tribe. And we're going to talk to a number of First Nations people, young people for the most part, who are going to tell us some of the cool things they are doing in southern Alberta. So very much looking forward to that.
That sounds so cool. I'm very excited to listen to that.
I've been trying to catch up with this guy named Abhay from the University of Saskatchewan for a long time. He deals with mental health aspects of climate change. So it's just too perfect for this podcast. And he deals with young people because he's at the University of Saskatchewan. What on Earth is CBC's environmental climate change program? And he's their mental health columnist. So he's appeared a number of times on CBC on What on Earth. So very excited to talk to him. I think we should check back in on a couple of guests from past seasons, from season 1 and 2. What do you think?
Absolutely. I think it's so important to check back in with some of the guests that we've had because especially as some of the interviewees we had on here being young people, their lives move so fast and so much change happens for them, more so than us adults, let's say. So it will be really cool to hear what new initiatives and different things they've been working on lately.
I've said that to several of the guests in the first 2 seasons. We'll have to check back with you in the future. I think one particular one that I keep thinking of is Arian, who was in season 1, talked to us about building. He got a grant, $500 grant. Out of Tupperware, he built these little things that trolled the water for microplastics. Very curious to hear what he's doing.
Absolutely.
Speaking of high school, another one I'm really excited about, I contacted Sophia Mathur, who is one of the young people in Ontario who took the government to court for the future people, basically. And then it went to the Supreme Court to see if it could be heard because it's such an unusual case. Can you sue the government on behalf of future people because of climate change? And so I'm very curious to talk to her about her experience and how that's going. So we'll catch up with Sophia. She's agreed to be on the show next year.
Wow, that'll be cool.
Here's one who you know, and I'm a bit nervous about. Twyla. Twyla Whidden is my daughter and your friend.
Yes.
And she's grown up with all the craziness. We were talking about all the craziness of not turning up the heat. And I'm afraid she's going to lambaste me, but I have to do it. I have to face it, don't I, Kayla?
Yeah, you're going to be exposed for all of the world to see how much you do for the environment. Is it normal level? Probably not. We'll find out.
Does it damage our children is the question.
No, I don't think so. I know my dad was quite adamant about food not going bad. I have definitely carried it into my adulthood for doing some kind of crazy things that some people might not do to try and make sure that I eat the food before it goes bad.
That's good. Because a lot of people don't, and I think that's something we need to do our best to do at least, right?
Mm-hmm. I definitely cut off the moldy bits for some food.
Shout out to Ray. And since we talked about your dad, we should probably mention your mom, Heather, who has done a lot of really cool work in Uganda as part of her career. And this segue here is that I've talked with some people from the Indigenous Youth Fellowship Program, and one of them is from Uganda, one from Guyana, and one from America. And so we're hoping we're going to get to catch up with all 3. They've said they're very interested. So that would be another neat one. Let's mention one more just to give folks one more thing to look forward to next season. We were just approached last week, actually, by an organization called Open Wardrobe. and they describe themselves as a groundbreaking AI-powered platform that's redefining how we approach fashion and sustainability. And the creator's mission is simple and powerful. It's keep clothes in circulation and out of landfills while promoting personal style. So we're going to try and catch up with their young 25-year-old designer, which, we hear a lot about fast fashion on this show. So sounds like a good thing to dig into, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be really cool to hear.
We should do the regular thing we always do on the show, which is to ask what gives you hope. So Kayla McIntosh, what gives you hope?
I'm going to shout out something super specific here. There's this one Instagram account that I've been following for a while, and it is Sam Bentley. We can show it here on the screen to show you what his feed looks like and give his handle and everything. He posts videos of good news, and oftentimes it's mostly good climate news. I love when it pops up on my feed. It just makes me feel a little bit better because we see so much bad news all the time. So seeing some good climate news and just being more aware of everything happening around the world and initiatives and policies and projects and technologies that are being created and passed and pushed forward that are good things that are happening makes me feel so good. So that gives me lots of hope.
That's cool. And in case that passed too quickly across your screen, we will put it in the show notes so you can find the link in there as well. We've talked about Sam before, and we'll have to try and get him on the show. That would be cool.
Yeah, definitely. And what about you, John? What gives you hope?
That's easy because the most hopeful thing, there's a lot of hope. I have a lot of hope in life. And that's why I started this podcast. But this podcast, ironically, has given me way more hope. Listening to these young people talk about the things they're doing, from microplastic Tupperware that's cleaning waterways in Calgary to young people from Samoa going to COP29 in Baku. Macro, it's just wonderful to hear these things that are happening. Much in the same way that you're talking about listening to stories from Sam gives you hope. Just listening to the people we talk to on the program and hearing their stories gives me a huge amount of hope. So I get lots out of it too.
Yeah, there's a lot of hope to be had, and it's good to remind ourselves of that.
Exactly. Well, thanks so much for taking some time to join us here and continuing to be our creative consultant, Kayla.
Thank you for having me. I love being back. I'll come on here whenever.
I'll get the contract out in the mail to you right away.
Okay.
And thank you, dear listener and viewer. You have all summer to catch up on missed episodes in case you missed out on any. And as you do so, please, as Kayla mentioned, think about someone who might enjoy the episode and send them that link and they can enjoy it as well. We will not be back next week, same time, same place, but we will be back in the fall to hear from many more climate action figures. Until then,
go figures.
This has been Climate Action Figures. Our show is produced and hosted by John Whidden. Our creative consultant is Kayla McIntosh. Our theme song is Hawaii Vacation by Tavari. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Climate Action Figures. That's all one word. And if you have any other questions or comments that arose from this or any episode, feel free to reach out to us at climateactionfigures@gmail.com. And thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another Climate Action Figure.